that rule, and then we'll just confiscate them at the door and you can have them leave. It's just that simple. All right.
Your Honor, do we know if there's any recording that was made? I hope not.
I will inquire. I'll have my staff inquire of the only ones that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And we will inquire of them. And if there is a recording, we will make sure it gets eliminated.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You need to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. This is all being taken down so it can be used for a future date. It's also being used for things like appeals. And if I allow those things to happen, the potential for an appeal becomes greater. And I don't want that. And therefore, I will make sure, however I have to, and if that means I collect cell phones at the door for the next 2 weeks, I will. It's that simple. I'm going to protect this record if it's the last thing I do. All right. Ms. Keenan?
Okay, sounds good.
Ms. Zuvers, will you retake the stand, please? We are nothing if not high tech. We have a back scratcher that you can use for a...
No. And if I start itching,
Ms. Zuvers, I would remind you we're still...
yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I apologize, Your Honor. I had my hands full and I forgot to bring down the pointer thing.
You know, the mother of invention.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd move to admit the exhibits and hand them to Your Honor, and then I would turn it over to Mr. Amadeo.
And I've stipulated as well, Judge, to the exhibits.
Do you have copies?
I do. They're all electronic, but I do have them.
Thank you.
May I inquire, it appears, at least initially, that this is a black car until I look at the bumper, and then it appears to be a dark blue. Is the whole thing dark blue?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yeah.
We can ask Ms. Zuvers to confirm.
And it definitely looked black on the screen, but I believe it's dark blue, Judge.
Well, when you get right down into it,
Right.
the bumper is, of course, it could be like my car, being two-tone. You may inquire.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Zubers. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So, first of all, I express my condolences for all you've been through over the years.
Thank you.
With that being said, my job is to defend John. So if I ask anything that's triggering and you need a break, I have no intent to embarrass you. Please let the prosecutor know.
Okay.
We'll try to work as a team as much as possible. We have a lot to cover today.
Okay.
So how long were you and John together?
Just over 10 years.
Okay.
9 married.
And one more thing. I know this is from 2010. If you
Right.
don't remember something, that's a perfectly fine answer. So no worries on that.
Okay.
Okay, so was John your first husband?
No.
Okay, how long did you and John date?
We met in August of 2000. In around November of 2000, we both had been living with, I lived with my parents' basement. He was living with a relative. So we decided that we would see if we could find an apartment as friends, and we found an apartment, we moved into it, and over the course of living together as friends, we fell in love and got married in 2002.
Okay, and it was Jennifer O'Brien that set you up, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you explain how that all happened?
I worked with her. I had a part-time job at a local gas station. I was a cashier, and she was what we called my deli girl. She worked the deli, making sandwiches and such. And she had told me that her boyfriend at the time, that his cousin was moving here, and thought that he and I would hit it off. Was I interested in getting together and play cards or something? So that's what we did.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to hammer into your criminal history. The only question I'm going to ask about that right now is, was John aware of your criminal history when you guys got together?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Now, when you and John got married, were you working at all, or was he the sole provider?
He was the sole provider at that time. Because we had Andrew. He was born in 01.
And you said something on Direct that kind of struck me. You said Andrew always helped the underdog. What do you mean by that?
If there was a student that was struggling to get, say, their math paper done, because it came easy to Andrew, he would help his neighboring student get theirs done so that they weren't falling behind or whatever.
So Andrew's a pretty giving man, young kid.
Oh, yes.
He would like tutor for free almost, that's what you're telling me.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. And you mentioned Alexander and Tanner. Those two are very close?
They were.
And you actually used the term Tanner was Alexander's shadow. Did that mean they were pretty much joined at the hip?
Pretty much.
Okay.
He wanted to do whatever Alexander did.
Got it. And I guess that's pretty normal for little brothers with big
Yeah.
brothers. So, you said John was the sole financial provider. What were his jobs? To the best of your memory.
The first job was, he was a factory worker, but then because it was part of the automotive industry, he qualified for programs and they paid for him to go to truck driving school.
Okay.
And then basically the rest of our time together, he drove truck for one company or another.
And you testified that John worked for State Line Farms in 2002. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay, what is State Line Farms?
It is a huge, they have tens of thousands of acres of farmland. At the time they did contract work for Red Gold. They planted tomatoes.
Okay.
And they also did field corn, soybeans.
What was he actually doing? What was his capacity as an employee for State Line Farms?
The majority of it, he drove truck, hauling either the tomatoes or the grain
Okay.
to either to the farm if it was grain and it needed to go to the dryer, or sometimes in the winter it would be grain to the down to the river to be shipped out.
All right. Now, and when he worked for State Line Farms, would it be fair to say he was working out in an open field?
At times, because they would be in their semi,
Okay.
waiting for their trailer to get filled.
And what year, if you remember, did he stop working for State Line Farms?
I do not recall.
Okay. Well, where was he working in 2010?
for 3D transport out of West Unity, Ohio.
All right. In 2010, did my client have any connection to State Line Farms that you know of from that point?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, I understand relationships fall apart. We're going to ask some touchy questions. If you need any clarification, let me know. Did John ever physically abuse you?
No.
And you wanted out of the relationship, correct?
Pardon?
You wanted out of the relationship at the end.
In the end, yes.
Okay. And did John love his children?
Yes.
Do you remember testifying that John had issues with child support?
Yes.
Okay. Who was the child he was supporting?
His firstborn daughter, Catherine Skelton.
Now, did you have children from a previous relationship?
I did.
Were you paying child support?
No, I was not.
Okay. Did John ever do anything financially to help your other children?
I mean, they would come for their weekend visits, or my ex and I were pretty, for the most part, pretty flexible. You know, both daughters went through a period where they wanted to live with us, and we allowed that. So, I mean, his income was paying bills, food, that type of thing.
Would you agree he was a hard worker to provide for the family?
Yes, in the beginning, he was.
Okay, now you mentioned on direct, and I understand you were on the stand for a while, that there was a conversation about child support where he said he wished he'd have to pay child support. Am I correct saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. When did that conversation occur?
I have no idea.
All right. And what did you take from that conversation?
Just frustration that he has to pay support for a child that he doesn't see much.
Mm-hmm.
She lived in another state, so it wasn't like he was able to have her every other weekend. So in order for her to come visit, there was, purchase of airline tickets and that type of thing, and you're already one income in the household.
Okay.
And raising 3 small boys, there wasn't always extra money to do that.
And how often did this child support conversation occur? Was it isolated or was it a normal thing?
I would say most of the time it was offhanded comments, how much the check would be bigger if we didn't have to pay child support.
And this child, was her name Catherine?
Catherine.
Catherine, okay. Is there any history of John ever hurting Catherine in any way, physically?
Not that I'm aware of.
How about emotionally? Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about it.
We do know, it is true, you would agree, that John was financially supporting a child through child support, a child he didn't have access to, correct?
Basically, yes.
While also supporting the children you guys had together.
Correct.
You mentioned John playing a lot of video games. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Now, isn't it true that John would play these video games with his children? Didn't the boys and him play together?
The online role-playing games, to my knowledge, no. The boys did not play those.
Did he play Dungeons and Dragons with them?
Not that I can recall. Now, they had like a PlayStation gaming system.
Mm-hmm.
They would play, we all would, racing games or...
And who was your oldest child? What was his name?
Andrew.
Would you challenge it if I said John and Andrew played a lot of video games together and bonded over that? Would that be something you would dispute?
It's possible. I don't know that I would go a lot. Andrew, he liked playing the Star Wars games and on the computer. And I know in the beginning his dad would help him with understanding
In fact, isn't it true that Star Wars was a big thing that those two bonded together over? It was like a thing like watching a favorite sport game.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that John started to work as a truck driver, correct?
Correct.
And when he was working as a truck driver, was he providing well for the family then or not?
Yes. Yes.
Did the kids ever go on truck rides with him?
They had.
And were sometimes these truck rides across state lines?
They were.
Did they actually enjoy going on the truck rides with him?
Oh, they loved going in the big truck.
They loved their dad, didn't they?
They did.
And their dad loved them, doesn't he?
At the time.
Did he care for the children?
Yes.
Did you ever see John physically hurt the children?
Not unless they needed corrected for something, but even then it was reprimand type thing.
So how about this? Did you ever see John abuse the children?
Oh, no.
Not at all, correct?
Correct.
Now, we've made a big list about all these messages John sent to you, and he contacted you a lot, correct?
Yes, he did.
Text messages,
Yes.
emails.
Yes.
Did he ever confess to killing his children?
No.
And were bodies ever found?
No.
Did you speak to the prosecutor before today?
Yes.
When did you meet with them?
Could we narrow that down a little bit?
Sure. Did you meet with the prosecuting team the last week?
Yes, I did.
Did they prep you for today?
We talked about what would happen today.
About how long was that meeting? Any idea?
3-4 hours.
Oh, so before you testified today, is it true that the prosecutors met with you for at least 3 hours?
Correct.
You mentioned that John, you remember the prosecutor asked you if John had friends?
Yes.
Who were his friends? You remember their names?
Jim Petrie,
Mm-hmm.
Mark Tobin. That's pretty much it, besides his family.
What did he do with his friends? Did you guys socialize together?
They would go out.
Now, you've been pretty involved in this investigation from 2010, correct?
Yes.
Do you have knowledge if the police ever interviewed his two friends you mentioned?
I know that they interviewed Mark Pilbeam. I don't know about the other one.
You mentioned discussing Funny Farm with the prosecutor. I get that name right?
Correct.
What is Funny Farm?
Campground.
And when did you guys go?
Memorial weekend of 2010.
Now, how often did you go? Was it a one-time thing?
That was just a one-time thing.
Okay. Can you describe the campground?
It's out in the country. It's off a dirt road. The roads in the campground are all dirt. They have a playground. They have a little ice cream shop that opens up at night. There's a pond that they could swim in or fish.
When you guys went, were there other people around, or was it like an isolated situation?
Oh no, there's people, there's seasonal campers there, people that come in for the weekend.
Do you know if there's any cameras around?
Pardon?
Do you know if there's any cameras around the facilities?
Not that I recall.
What time of year did you guys go camping?
In the spring, Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. How many times do you think you met with the police since 2010?
Way too many to count.
Say over 100?
Oh, probably.
What were the topics of those conversations? Have they changed over the years?
in the first couple days or week was finding the boys, just getting interviewing me, investigating me. And then changed to they believe the boys had been murdered.
Did the police ever share their opinion that they believe John did these horrible crimes?
Yes.
How long after the boys disappeared did the officers say that John did these horrible crimes? You okay? Looks like you're staring now.
I'm good.
Okay, me too.
Okay. We're not going to be sidebars. If there's a problem, I want you to bring it to the court, and I'll take care of it. All right?
Absolutely, Judge. How long into the investigation did the police tell you that they believe John did these horrible crimes?
I don't recall the exact date or how many weeks or days it had been. I'm going to say within the first 2 weeks.
Oh, within the first 2 weeks?
Or 3 weeks, they changed it to a murder investigation.
All right. Did they charge him in 2010 of murder?
No. Not that I recall.
Were you kept in the loop about the murder investigation?
Yes.
So is it true that the prosecutor's office waited 16 years to charge him with murder? Would that be correct? 2010 to 2026?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Do you have any idea when John was scheduled to get out of prison?
November of 2026. No, 2025.
And isn't it true that 12 days before he was released from prison, the prosecutor's office charged him with murder then?
If you say so. I don't know the exact date.
Did you ever present any physical evidence to the police that John did this?
No.
Do you even know if there's any physical evidence linking John to the crime?
I have no idea.
What research have you done to find the children?
Research?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, you mentioned websites, did your own investigation. What did you actually do, and were you helped by the police in that process?
I made posters, shared them numerous times on social media, met and talked with so many news reporters from the area, interview after interview, to share the story of Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, in hopes that someone somewhere would have seen something, whatever it may be.
How many years did you live with John?
10.
Do you have any guns in the house?
I'm sorry, counsel, I can barely hear.
Sorry, did John have any guns in the house when you guys lived together?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have any weapons of any kind that you're aware of?
No.
Do you have any personal knowledge that anything occurred in Lenawee County, or is this all circumstantial?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Tell me about the September 8th, 2010 conversation the prosecutor asked you about. Do you remember that?
I'm sorry, what?
The September 8th conversation of 2010 that the prosecution asked her about on direct. It was about his high school reunion.
That is actually not the way the testimony came in. The September
I was going
8th.
to say, I remember that he went to a high school reunion and there was some kind of reconnection with somebody, but I don't remember a conversation about what happened at the high school reunion.
Let me rephrase.
Is that,
There was a September 8th conversation that came up, and then there was a high school reunion mentioned, but I could try to flesh it out.
okay.
Do you remember when John went to his high school reunion?
I believe it was in June or July of 2010. I don't recall the exact date.
How long after his high school reunion did John express that he wanted to move to Florida?
6 to 8 weeks, probably.
Do you think he was trying to save the marriage?
Up until September 13th, I didn't know the marriage was broke.
So what happened on September 13th?
I took my children to school, and he went in after me and signed them out and was headed to Florida with them without my knowledge.
Did John want to move to Florida with the family to give a fresh start?
He had a conversation with me that he would like to move to Florida. Nothing was ever determined or decided about going to Florida.
Were you going to move in with John's family if you moved to Florida?
I have no idea where we were going to live.
You mentioned holiday parties. You expressed some frustration about that John didn't want to go. Is that accurate?
He just thought that there were too many of them. We have Christmas with our children, then there's Christmas with my parents, and Christmas with my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, and
Now, when you mentioned he seemed frustrated, how many hours a week was he working during that time? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Do you think maybe he was tired from work?
I don't know.
He was the sole financial provider, correct?
Yes.
Who's Chief Weeks?
He was the chief of police for Morenci at the time.
And when did you first speak to Chief Weeks?
September 13th.
And what was the contents of that conversation, if you remember what you shared?
That John had gone into the school and signed my sons out for a family vacation in Florida that I knew nothing about.
And
What could I do to keep him from taking my sons to Florida?
And what was the outcome of the conversation with Chief Weeks? Was there any resolution?
He took John's phone number. He called John, asked him if he would come back to the police station and sit down with Chief Weeks and myself to discuss him wanting to leave Michigan.
When did you actually file for divorce?
September 13th.
And how long after meeting Chief Weeks did you decide to go meet with a divorce lawyer?
I decided that before I met with Chief Weeks.
Did you file with a divorce lawyer? Did you decide what you want before the meeting with the chief, or was it after?
My daughters were at the attorney's office while I was meeting with Chief Weeks.
Who is Hillary Golden?
Supposedly a high school classmate of the defendant that he reconnected with at his high school class reunion.
Now, what did you know of John's relationship with Hillary? Anything other than that?
Nothing.
Were you told that Hillary had a disease that was killing her and she was close to death?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned on direct examination when the boys went swimming, you were upset that Hillary was watching them. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, if she's dying and can't take care of herself, how is she protecting my son's swimming.
That's fair. However, wasn't it Hillary's daughter who was watching them?
I don't recall.
You have an idea how old Hillary's daughter was or what her
I have
physical
no
condition
idea.
was? When did you eventually file for divorce? What was the date?
Objection, this has been asked and answered twice already.
Repeatedly.
Who was the judge for your divorce?
Judge Margaret Noe.
And did John have a lawyer opposing the divorce? Do you know?
Initially, he had retained an attorney.
Okay. Did he keep that attorney? What happened in the process?
I have no idea. I just know when we got to our divorce hearing, he was representing himself.
Was the divorce hearing before he was charged criminally or after?
He had already been charged criminally.
Who was the judge of his criminal matters?
Judge Margaret Noe.
So to be clear, is it true that the same jurist that was overseeing the divorce also oversaw the criminal matter? It's a yes or no question. Right?
Yes.
Before Thanksgiving of 2010, did you ever accuse John of doing anything wrong with your boys?
No.
Before this, was John ever charged with assaultive crime to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Now, did you testify that Judge Nolly instructed you and John to drive back from Florida?
No, the judge in Florida instructed us to drive back from
Got it.
Florida.
Do you recall testifying that John stayed in the family home during your separation?
Yes.
And where did you stay during that time period?
Initially, I was at my parents' house on Locust Street, and then I moved into a house on Maple Drive that my daughter and her soon-to-be ex-husband owned, and neither of them were living there. They allowed me to live there.
Now, isn't it true that the family home was close to being foreclosed on?
I don't recall that.
If I told you that it was about a month away for foreclosure, would you challenge that?
I would be surprised. I did not know that.
Do you remember testifying that you got the boys into counseling?
Correct?
Who was the counselor for the boys?
I was through Catholic Charities. I want to say her name was Melanie. I don't recall her last name.
And did you and John enter counseling?
We did.
Who was your counselor?
Don't remember his name.
Who was your divorce lawyer?
David McFarland.
All right. And did you testify, and correct me if I'm wrong, that David McFarland gave you advice on creating a parenting time schedule?
Correct.
Okay. And was that schedule court ordered?
Eventually it was put into court papers.
Before it was put in the court papers, was it just Mr. McFarland and you coming up with a plan?
Yes.
Okay. Did John approve of the plan?
Yes.
How often, under the plan, before it was court ordered, did my client get to see his children?
I have no idea.
You remember the plan?
Like how often he saw them?
According to your plan, how often?
He would see them every Wednesday and every other weekend.
So, once during the week, and then once every other weekend. Is that correct?
Correct.
You mentioned you only filed for divorce to keep John from taking the kids to Florida. Is that correct?
Initially, yes.
Was John upset about losing access to his children, do you know?
I have no idea what.
Did you ever talk about that?
Not that I recall.
Do you think John wanted more time with his children?
I have no idea.
Did he communicate you frequently in text messages?
He did.
Did he communicate you frequently in emails?
Yes.
Did he instant message you?
Yes.
In these communications, did he ever express wanting to see the kids more?
I'm sure he did. Honestly, a lot of that time between September 13th and November 26th, I do not recall a lot of what went on because November 26th was very traumatic to me, and I don't remember.
Do you ever remember in any of the forms of communication John confessing to harming these children?
Objection asked and answered.
I'm actually asking about these communications, which is actually a fresh topic, Judge. I think it's a fair game.
Okay, ask the question again, please.
In any of the forms of communications we just talked about, did John ever express a confession to you about harming the children?
No, because our communication with him,
I guess the question I would only proffer is what time are we talking about?
We're
After
talking...
he was charged with kidnapping, after he was convicted of kidnapping, after they disappeared on the 20, or didn't appear, I should put it that way, on the 26th.
How about
what
that?
time frame?
I'll narrow it.
Thank you.
From September 13th, 2010 till November 26th, 2010, did my client ever express any messages that would confess to harming these children?
no, because I saw my children up until November 26th.
Did he ever send you a threatening message that he was going to hurt the children?
No.
Did John have 2 phones?
At some point he did. He had the phone that was on our joint line, and then he had another one that he had on his own.
Do you know why he had 2?
I have no idea. Got turned off. The bill wasn't paid.
Did this continue after you filed for divorce? When did the phone stop plan?
In September of 2010.
Now, I know your kids are young. Did they ever have cell phones of their own?
No.
Okay. You mentioned a cleaning job right before Thanksgiving. Is that correct?
Yes.
Where was that job located at?
Adrian, Michigan.
And who are you cleaning for?
I do not recall the lady's name. It was a friend of my cousin that wanted her house deep cleaned for Thanksgiving.
You testified, and correct me if I'm wrong, that on November 21st and 22nd of 2010, things changed. Is that true?
Yes.
How did they change?
While in the custody of the defendant, my children learned of my criminal past.
And how did that change things?
Why would you tell my children about my criminal past that has nothing to do with them? They are 5, 7, and 9. They don't understand what that is. Why would you tell them about it?
But I'm not asking you why he told them. You testified things changed. Can you express to the court how they changed after this conversation occurred?
Counsel, if it helps you, I understand what she said.
Okay.
I clearly understand that what she's saying is that her anger over his sharing of that information with children of the age of 9, 7, and 5, specifically that she was a sexual offender. 9-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and 5-year-olds shouldn't even know what sex is.
I'm not debating that, Judge.
What?
I'm not debating that at all, Your Honor.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're worried about whether the court understands it, the court understands.
Understood. Was November 22nd John's birthday?
Yes.
Did you guys usually do special things for his birthday?
No.
What time did John take the children on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving in 2010?
He was to pick them up at 3 p.m. at my parents' house.
Okay, and what time did you leave for Thanksgiving holiday? The next day, I guess.
Did I leave to go to the Thanksgiving holiday?
Yeah.
I believe around 10:30 in the morning, maybe 11. I don't recall the time.
And what time did you get back?
Evening, 6, 6:30, 7.
Did you speak to your children at all on Thanksgiving Day?
No, I did not.
Okay, now, is that the day you made it abundantly clear you didn't want to work things out anymore?
No,
Did you speak to your children Thanksgiving night?
no.
Do you remember testifying during a phone call with John? It sounded like the kids were in the back having a great time.
Yes, that was early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day.
So you did speak to them on Thanksgiving Day.
I did not speak to the children. I spoke
You just
to
heard the children
the
in the back.
defendant, and I heard the children in the background playing a video game.
How far did John live from where you were staying when you guys moved out?
About 3 blocks.
Okay, and your nephew was a football player, correct?
Yes.
And who did he play for?
A community high school, Hudson Tigers.
And they were playing in a state championship game in 2010.
Correct.
What was the date of the game?
November 27th, 2010.
Do you know where the game is located?
Ford Field in Detroit.
Now, do you remember testifying that John's van was in the driveway that day? When he said
Which day, Your Honor?
on the 27th. Is that accurate? When
Not
did you
on the 27th.
What day did you see John's van in the driveway?
On the 26th of November 2010.
Okay, what time of day was that?
Around noontime.
And did you see a woman enter the house?
I saw a woman get out of a car and head to his front door, but I could not see his front door from where I was at, so I assume she went in his house.
Okay. Can you describe her?
Thin, long blonde hair.
Did you ever meet her before?
At the time, I didn't know who it was.
Do you know who it is today?
I do.
Who is it?
Kelsey Borowski, who is the daughter of Jennifer Borowski, who lived with John's cousin, James O'Brien.
Were you friends with Kelsey?
I mean, I knew her. She was part of the family. I don't know that I would say we were friends. She was a teenager.
Do you know why she was going over that day?
I have no idea.
Do you know what vehicle she was driving? If she was driving a vehicle?
It was a car.
Do you know what kind?
No.
Tell me about Cafe Mom. Break that down for me. What is Cafe Mom?
It is a social media website, or was at the time, very similar to MySpace, Facebook.
And did you log on to Cafe Mom on Thanksgiving of 2010?
It's possible.
Did you say that a woman named Joanne Taylor sent you a friend request at some point on Cafe Mom?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
No, I don't.
Was it before Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Did you accept the request?
I did.
Did you recognize her name at all?
No,
Did she have pictures on the website?
I don't recall.
Did you ever meet her in person?
No,
Did you and Joanne Taylor go to the same groups on Cafe Mom? Did you guys have anything in common?
I do not recall.
Now, you said that you received an email from that account on November 26, 2010 at 7:02. Is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay. Did you show that email to the police?
yes.
Do you have any knowledge if they forensically traced that email?
I'm not sure if they did or not.
Now, you also testified other than the one word, persecuted. That's why you believe Joanne's email was from John, correct?
Yes,
Right. Do you know when John went to Fulton County Health Center?
at some point on November 26th.
Okay. Now, do you know if he had access to his phone at Fulton County Health Center?
Yes, he did.
Do you know if he used the phone on Cafe Mom? Do you have any proof?
That I have no idea.
Now, you mentioned your attorney told you to wait to make a police report. Is that correct?
He told me,
Which day, Your Honor?
We're talking November 26th.
he told me that I should wait, don't call right at 3 o'clock, you know, give a little leeway for travel. And I told him I'm not waiting much past 3 because he's already taken my sons and went to Florida with them without my knowledge, and now he's in a hospital with a broken foot and does not have my children with him and does not have a phone number to give me of the person he claims they're with.
Who and how long did it take for Morenci Police and you guys to connect? Do you remember that?
It was within a couple hours. I don't recall the time.
Who is Pastor Donna Galloway?
At the time, she was the minister of the Morenci United Methodist Church.
Did she play any role in this investigation?
I know that she was at the house at my mom and dad's. As far as the investigation, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you made a website. Is that correct?
I didn't necessarily make the website. Somebody made it for us. I don't even remember who it was.
Were there any leads that ever came from the website?
I have no idea.
You have no idea if there were leads from the website to find your children?
I have no idea. I didn't monitor the website. Someone made it for us and monitored it. I have no idea.
Did the monitor ever tell you if there were any leads?
No, I would assume they would have called the police.
Who created the Facebook page? Was that you?
The family.
Were there leads from the Facebook page that you're
We've
aware of?
had all kinds of tips come in, and I've immediately passed them on to law enforcement.
If you had to gauge, how many tips came in to the best of your knowledge?
Hundreds.
And every one of the tips were passed on to law enforcement?
Correct.
Nothing further this time.
Mr. Amadeo asked you about State Line Farms and asked you if it was essentially an open field. Do you remember that?
Yes.
There's actually a ton of big barns on the property, right?
They own property all over Lenawee County, Fulton County, Ohio. Big fields.
So when you said he worked for State Line Farms and you described the location in Morenci off of 156, did he only work at that location?
The majority of the time, but there was also a location outside of Lyons, Ohio that he would sometimes work at.
Do you know how many acres we're talking?
I don't.
And you mentioned hog barns.
Correct.
Are those hog barns on the State Line Farm properties?
In Morenci,
Okay.
yes.
What are these hog barns?
Behind the equipment barns.
Okay. So I'm going to assume, because we call them hog barns, there's going to be some pigs out there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many hogs these farms were holding at the time?
I know that they have 4 hog barns out there. I do not recall how many. At one time I knew, but I have no idea.
Okay. Other big barns on the property besides the hog barns?
There's an equipment barn, and I believe there was, as I drive by it all the time, but there are new buildings that have been put up there in the past 16 years, so I'm trying to remember what. I think there may have been one other, like, what was an outbuilding.
Do you have any personal knowledge if there were other bodies of water or anything like that on State Line Farm properties?
Not that I can recall.
Do you have
Other than, I take that back. The location outside of Lyons, Ohio, there is a pond.
Do you have any personal knowledge of whether there's any woods on any of the State Line Farm properties?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Amadeo asked you if you had any personal knowledge back at the time about the defendant committing any abuse against his daughter, Katie. Do you recall that question?
I do.
Okay.
That's a police report, right?
She knew that, though. She's reporting this. You asked her for knowledge.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm going to approach the witness. Your Honor, for the record, I would indicate I did hand the witness the FBI report with her statement that she gave on November 27th, 2010.
John?
Oh, wait. Read it to yourself and then I'll ask you a question. I apologize.
Oh, sorry.
I should have clarified.
Okay.
Do you remember speaking to the FBI in November 27th of 2010?
Yes, I do.
And at that time, you were asked a similar question about John having any previous incidents, abuse allegations regarding the defendant. Do you remember that?
Yes. And I had forgotten about that. One of those things you block.
And what was your knowledge at that time?
That at some point in Katie's life, she had been sleeping in her parents' bed. Her mom was at work, and she saw milk come out of her father's penis.
And to the best of your knowledge, was that how Katie's mother actually got awarded custody of their child?
That I have no idea.
All right. Mr. Amadeo also asked you if you knew if the defendant was violent towards the children at all during the time of your marriage, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm also, Your Honor, I'm going to approach the witness. FBI report dated November 27th, 2010. Again, read to yourself.
Okay.
Again, during that same conversation with the FBI, did you disclose any concerns you had at that time?
The only time that I ever, and that refreshed my memory, remember the defendant physically reprimanding our sons was when they were jumping on our bed and knocked the TV off and it broke. He took each of the boys into a separate room and spanked their bare bottoms with a belt.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with John about that behavior?
I told her I didn't agree with that. I never agree with a child being spanked on their bare bottom with a belt.
Did you have an issue with discipline in general, or just being spanked on the bare bottom with a belt?
Pretty much just being spanked on the bare bottom with a belt. Discipline can happen without being physically harming.
You testified earlier that when you read the email on Cafe Mom from Mom Forever Young, that you knew that you believed it sounded like the defendant based on the word persecute, correct?
Correct.
All right. And again, I'm going to approach the witness with her FBI report from November 27th, 2010. Does that refresh your memory on what happened back in 2010?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any doubts in your mind on the person who was identifying themselves as Joanne Taylor, that it was actually a Joanne Taylor?
Initially, no. And then at some point throughout receiving messages, it seemed like every time the defendant and I would have a disagreement or an argument, I would receive a message of some sort from this Joanne Taylor, always defending John, and I started to wonder if it wasn't the defendant himself or possibly his sister Lucinda messing with me.
Okay. So it appeared that every time you guys got in a fight, this person would message you?
Yes.
Okay. And did they know a lot of information about those arguments?
There was a lot of personal information that was that whoever this Joanne Taylor was, a lot of personal information that you wouldn't just tell an acquaintance.
You testified that you knew who Jennifer Borowski was back in 2010, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you're looking out your window from your house all the way over to Congress Street, can you see exactly everything?
No. I could see the driveway. I could see where the van was parked. I could see the driveway. I could see where the van was parked. I could see when the car pulled in the driveway. And I knew it was a woman that got out, but I did not know who.
Okay. And is that just based on the distance?
The distance.
Okay.
Had I been next door or something, I would have known that it was Kelsey.
Okay. You were asked about doing special things for the defendant's birthday. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Do you recall during the course of your marriage, it's going to be an odd question, I apologize, having an agreement to have birthday sex? Was that a special thing, special occasion?
Yes.
Okay. And was that a given every year on his birthday?
Yes.
And so November 22nd, 2010 was his birthday.
Correct.
Okay. And I know you testified you don't recall. Do you think that do you think that you guys were planning on him coming over that night?
We may have been. I honestly don't recall.
You were asked if the defendant owned any weapons.
Correct.
So if a gun was found in his home during a search, he wouldn't have had any knowledge about that?
Correct.
What about any knives?
I wouldn't have no idea.
You met with Mr. Hartung and I last week,
Correct?
a couple hours.
Yes.
At any point in time, were you told what to say here today?
No, I was not.
Nothing further.
Bree, did you ever see John physically abuse your children?
No.
And when he allegedly hit them with a belt, did you take them to the hospital or anything?
No.
And his daughter, Katie, did you actually see that happen, or did that information come from his ex-wife?
No, that information came from the defendant.
The defendant told you that.
Correct.
When did he tell you that?
I have no idea. Beginning of early year of in our relationship, I no idea.
What exactly did he tell you?
Exactly what I just testified to. That she was in his bed and he did not know she was there, and she told her mother that she saw milk come out of his penis.
Do you know if any charges were pressed against him?
I have no idea.
Nothing further.
I'm all set, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Can she be excused?
Yes, Your Honor, and we'd ask that she be allowed to remain in the courtroom.
I have no objection to that, Judge.
Zubers, you may stay in the courtroom. Again, if you leave, please do not discuss your testimony.
I will not. Thank you.
You may call your next witness.
Can we approach real quick, or?